Thank you, everyone, and what a privilege it is to be here with you today. I'm Emma Magenta, and I draw pictures and I write stories about the world of feelings. I try to map the terrain of the collective emotional landscape, like a cartographer of the heart. And I use my own emotional history as the resource material. Now, even though joy is my absolute favourite emotion, it's actually the tricky emotions that intrigue me the most, the feelings that make me feel most vulnerable or afraid. I want to know why this crazy thing happens when we enter adulthood called self-censorship. Something crazy happens. We start screening which feelings are appropriate to feel in public or experience or express, and which ones we keep hidden. I want to be able to feel all my feelings so that I can actually accept myself and therefore have greater self-love, because I believe if I have greater self-love and self-acceptance, then I'll have a greater chance of loving everyone outside of myself. In a sense, through this way, I'm wanting to plant a seed to grow an empathy tree, a compassion tree within myself. I expect that of myself in this life, and I really hope in time everyone will grow that tree too. Is this working? Okay. So I actually undertake this process through a unique creative method that I'm going to share with you today. Because by the end of this talk, or towards the end, we're going to make a collective artwork together called a heartwork. And a heartwork is an online artwork that reflects your current emotional state after you answer a series of very benign questions, nothing too Freudian, don't worry, about your current emotional state, and it will mirror back how you're feeling right now. But before we get to that exciting project, exciting collaboration, I'm going to share with you my creative process so you'll get an idea of how I arrived, me the Luddite, into the world of technology and online artwork making. Now, I must reassure you before I show you my artwork that I did go to art school. It may not look like it. I spent many years, in fact, trying to download how to see the world and draw like a master. But strangely, when I left, I actually wanted to draw like a 6-year-old, as an example. This one, titled She Did a Wee. 2001 I drew that. Yeah, I was 25. You know, it's not quite the Leonardo you're hoping for, I know, but I'm not dissimilar to Leonardo. I know that's a big call. But Leonardo and I were both looking for the truth of things through our creative process. I can't speak for Leonardo, but for me, the creative process of a child, the worldview of a child, for me is always, I've loved it. When you think about children's art, it seems to embody all the things that I find that I want to embody in my life as an artist, but especially as a human being. Emotional honesty, raw authenticity, and the ability to create without self-censorship. I love that children just make art without worrying too much about whether they've got archival paper. They're not waiting for inspiration by having to move to Tuscany to look over rolling hills. They just do it. And I really wanted that. When I finished art school, I missed when art was fun, instead of when you had to write a manifesto just to draw a line. So how do you actually go back and retrieve that part of yourself that has that spontaneity, that ability to not censor yourself emotionally and draw really what you're feeling at the time? Well, I found a little unique method. I decided to abandon my educated right hand, and I picked up a pen with my left hand, but it certainly wasn't on a tablet, first of all. This is very progressive for me. And I began to draw what I was feeling at the time. Often it was a self-portrait of what I was feeling. Now, as I'm here right now, I can tell you this is a self-portrait of the terror of public speaking. And then just a little word, because I like to add text with my drawings. Hell. Oh, wow, this is really tricky. But anyway, as you can see, I like the flaw in things. So this was my technique that I devised to kind of deprogram myself of 25 years of too much living and too much art school, to access this part of myself that just drew for the joy, and actually as a consequence, a lot of feelings started to emerge that allowed me to express emotions that had kind of been dormant within myself. And I would draw manically while I worked at a bookstore in Sydney on pieces of paper that I found, and pens and highlighters and the brown paper bags that you'd put the books in. And I'd pin them up to the wall behind me, much to the chagrin of my boss, I must say. But the customers would come in and really connect with the work. But what actually emerged at this time from this time was certain sub-personalities that began to reveal particular emotional experiences to me. And one of the main characters was this one called Magenta. Magenta, I know, my name, sorry. You didn't think I got that name at birth, did you? But she's always looking for hope, even in the most dire situation, and this is a dire situation. She wore an Eastern Bloc swimsuit. This is what a girl has to do when she gets surprised after work by a new love interest to go for a spontaneous winter swim and she's not physically prepared. You know, a girl's vulnerable at that moment, so she's got to come up with something. Other characters would emerge as well, such as the fox. Now, the fox often appeared when I was about to do something pretty foolish, particularly in my relationship life, and, you know, go out with someone who wasn't appropriate, but fun. And he's the shadow side, and he would always appear as an exciting character. And often after I had had this experience, the next character would be a winged creature, often an owl, representing a part of myself that was wanting divine intervention to help me through whatever I'd done that was foolish with the fox. And the last thing, another example of my kind of use of hair to represent certain emotions. This one, New Hair for New Hope, reflects how hair can actually take on a very positive emotional quality. So this is an example of the kind of drawings we're going to be utilising when we make our heart work at the end of this talk. Now, after 15 years of public therapy, which is what this work was, and I must say, I did save myself about $250,000 on, you know, psychotherapy. I started to, wonder if there was a way I could share my process with others. Strangely, that opportunity occurred when I was at the lowest point in my life. In 2008, I was at what could only be described as the emotional nadir in my life. I looked like this. Yeah, that's me. Emotionally dead. 2008, my expectations of life, love, and myself were so high that I felt extremely defeated by that summit that felt out of my reach. And the only way out of the Grand Canyon of despair that I was in that year was actually through the creation of this sub-personality, Phillipa Finch. Now, Phillipa Finch is the pin-up girl for the emotionally thwarted. She's the girl that is looking for divine love in the men that she goes out with. Perfect love. She's actually mistaking that. She's looking for God, or call God whatever you want, the source of love. Now, that's a big call for guys to feel, isn't it, girls? But, the only way Phillipa is going to get anywhere close to even the lobby of where the divine presence lives is if she acquaints herself with these three words: forgiveness, compassion, and unconditional love. I know, they're big ones. I don't really embody them every day. I'm not expecting everyone else to, but Phillipa really does need to go back into her emotional history and start to see all the people that she thinks have done her so badly with these words, because that's the only way she's going to get even close to the feeling that she's looking for. But until then, unfortunately, she's projecting this hope for divine union onto all these men. So needless to say, she's a pretty disappointed woman. So Phillipa Finch, Phillipa Finch as a character became an animation, a book, an iPhone app, an interactive web page, and now it's also in the live space as a art installation that you'll see out in the foyer called The Waking Heart. Now, when I entered this realm, I certainly didn't see myself entering such a massive technological process because, I'm very much a hands-on person. But thankfully, I became acquainted with a great team called Based on Birds, of which we have them here today. We have a Rashka track over here. We have Simon Jankelson over there, and Dave Calder is over there as well. And they'll be outside answering any questions about what I'm about to share with you. These three brilliant boys managed to devise an interactive web page where the viewer can come in and be a part of Phillipa's world and start to feel that they had a friend in Phillipa. And within that space, they could actually create their own artwork after they answered a series of questions that I had devised very light-hearted ones about their emotional state. Yeah, they're all Phillipa's boyfriends. Anyway, and they would go in, and after they finished the questionnaire, there would be also a sound answer as well, which you'll get to find out in a minute. It would mirror back to the participant their own artwork that would reflect their current emotional state. Now, in order for you to really grasp that concept, I'm going to need a volunteer from the audience to do that for us and answer those questions. Can I have someone who'd like to do it? You'd like to do it? Okay, did you want to come up here and do it? You can sit next to a rash and make your answers. Would you like to tell everyone your name? Hannah. Hannah? Hannah's going to help us here. Okay, so I'm going to click on thank you, Arash. Okay, Hannah, which mood best reflects your current emotional state? Despondent, vaguely confused. Contentment bordering on jubilant. Cynical, please don't say that one now. Ferocious and dangerously excited. Which one? Everyone wants to be dangerously excited. Which of the following song lines describes your current state? Cloud busting. Ooh, something good's going to happen. Just saying it could even make it happen. No rest till I get through, because I'm holding out for you. Violently happy, because I love you. Violently happy, only you can calm me down. We lived an adventure, followed the sun till night, reminiscing other times of life. Which one would you like? Cloudburst, good choice, good choice. Okay, so, Hannah, which of the following items of clothing best reflects your current emotional state? Fox undies, where are the fox undies? I'm not going to advertise myself. They've gone? Okay. Gold knee-high socks, a crazy business tie, or a peacock hat? Okay. There should be gold knee-high socks there. Which of the following best represents your concept of love at present? A wild brumby, a taboo door that suddenly opens, a trapped bird escape. Don't say that one because your dad's here. Like-minded madness. Which one? I agree. That's very appropriate. Which of the following extreme sports could you find yourself pursuing right now? Base jumping off the back of a flying owl, unicycling across an imaginary tightrope blindfolded, free running in a room full of priceless antiques, or randomly kissing strangers while skateboarding with a fake barefoot. Okay? Now, I'll talk about the waking heart very quickly. These boys took this idea a step further by creating this machine that's outside called the Waking Heart Machine that draws out the line that you'll see in the heart work as it comes out in a minute. And what the beauty of the Waking Heart Machine is, it actually takes this online concept of the heart work back out into the real world, which for me is where real emotional alchemy takes place, which is in the realm of human relationships. Now, if you want to know what you're feeling at this point in time, you just have to look at the way you're relating to the person next to you. That will tell you more about yourself than anything. And the other beautiful thing about the waking heart is that it actually shows everyone's heart lines linked together on a continuous sheet of paper, thereby supporting that idea that we, even though we're individual, we're not separate. And as you'll see out there, Phillipa Finch lies dormant, emotionally numb, waiting for enough heart works to revive her. So this brings to a really fine point, which is we are responsible not just for ourselves and our own emotional evolution, but to help each other, to wake each other up. Because if you want to see social change, I think the best way is to start with the self. The starting point is always the self. Okay? Now, we're going to make a sound. Let's make our own sound, Hannah. Let's be experimental, which means that everyone here gets to have a go. So on the count of 3, we're going to help Hannah make any sound. Don't feel embarrassed because we're all doing it. We're all going to do it. Okay? Just make the sound of what you're feeling right now. Ready? On the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. So if you have any, you want to talk about the waking heart or the heart heartwork making concept. We're outside and you can actually do your own personal heartwork. And you'll join the online community of heartwork makers. And the beauty of the heartwork concept is it actually links people together who might not normally be, artistic, and people who might be socially isolated. And you can upload your heartwork to Facebook or Twitter and share in a forum that isn't really known for deep human interaction. So feel free to do that outside. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here today. Thank you very much.